Hey guys, welcome back to World of Warships. We have another brand new tier 10 battleship to take a look at today. The Dutch Willem de Eerste. I'm bad with pronunciations. As always, I apologize. But this is an airstrike focused tier 10 battleship. If you've been enjoying playing against the new light cruisers on the Dutch line, well, now we have a battleship version. This ship will be available for steel, so 31,000 steel will be the price for this one. These airstrikes are a lot like the Prins van Oranje, PVO, as I shorten it all the time. They do a ton of damage, 20,000 into a Jean Bart, and the Kronstadt, how much is he gonna take? It's very fun, okay? They're having a good time. They are having a good time. That's like 34,000 damage just from clicking on someone's forehead. I'm not a fan of airstrike ships being in the game, but for this one, to talk about its strengths, we have to talk about these airstrikes and just how insane they are. Comparing them to the PVO is very, very crucial here, as we have the same range as the Prins. At 15 kilometers, you really don't have to work very hard to get in range of so many enemy ships. These bombs are going to be the same, doing 8,500 alpha damage. For reference, Gouden does 6,800, Utrecht does 5,800. These are insanely high damage bombs. Your drop pattern is going to be pretty much the same as the PVO, and you'll notice that I'm going to miss a lot, as I have not been practicing playing PVO for a very long time, and it has a 17.5 second lead time. So the box is similar. It's actually a little bit shorter in length. It's not quite as tall as the PVO drop box, but it has the same lead time of 17.5 seconds, which makes it hard to lead, as well as gives the enemy time to dodge, which I'm a fan of. If you remember my initial coverage on the Prince there, I really enjoyed that one took some skill to lead and try and predict enemy ships, at least the more modern ones with insane acceleration, like a Valparaiso, for example. But it also has the problem of insane pen, though. This is a ship with 46 millimeters of pen on those bombs, just like PVO. 48% fire chance as well. The only real major difference, actually, is going to be your reload and the number of bombs. So slightly smaller reticle, slightly fewer bombs. 84 bombs on the Prince, 72 here on the Willem. Doesn't make a huge difference, but maybe a bit of consistency there, I guess. But crucially, it's only a 2-minute reload on these airstrikes. Prince has a 160-second reload. We get 120 seconds base. And of course, we get to buff that with commander skills. So you can see how quickly we can get these bombs back. From the start of this game, you can also tell we have some pretty good main guns too, even able to citadel ships at quite long range. This ship is essentially a copy-paste of the Scarlet Thunder, which is a copy-paste of Duncan with slight tweaks, I guess. Yeah, not the most new content we're getting here. Like I've said recently, a lot of these new ships do seem to be a hull we already have with a turret swap maybe and a special gimmick added, and this ship is no exception. Compared to the Scarlet Thunder, we have very similar HP, slightly better detection. Notice we're getting down to like 12.2 kilometer detect on this ship. The guns, though, are 406s, so we don't have a ton of overmatch on this one, but their pen and alpha damage is actually really, really high. This ship does not have the buffed rudder shift of Scarlet Thunder, though, so 16.6 second rudder here, which is fine. Remember, Montana has 22 second rudder these days, so this is quite good still. Normal repairs here, 50% pen repair, 10% citadel repair, and that's a big problem, as this ship has one of the largest citadels in the game. I'm a huge fan of that, by the way. I have problems with this ship coming into the game, mainly down to its airstrike. But being a battleship with a citadel is something I love to see. We need more of this. So frustrating is it to find someone flat broadside sailing, even at extremely close ranges, and you just can't citadel them because of Wargaming's poor design of the ship. Not foreshadowing anything at all there. As for our main battery, though, we got to talk a little more battleship dispersion here. So just standard battleship dispersion table, but with 2.1 Sigma. That's where some of this consistency is coming from. It's still going to troll you from time to time, but Sigma is the tendency for those shells to go towards the center of that dispersion ellipse. So what you see in port is your horizontal dispersion. There's also a hidden vertical dispersion value. And with that, those two values, they draw a circle or an ellipse on the water. And then Sigma is some math thing that they're adding in to give you the tendency towards the middle. 2.1 is pretty good for a battleship. Notice here we're going to actually miss the Jean-Bart by about 2 seconds of drop time. And at very close ranges, your drop time actually changes. That was a 15.5-second drop time, at least to that range. It's only at very close ranges. And I'm just going to miss him, unfortunately. Should have taken a little more time to aim. But usually you don't have to worry about that because that's only at like 3 kilometers. And oftentimes you're not using your airstrikes at those ranges. The AP, though, has really nice alpha damage, 13,700. I think that's the highest 406mm gun alpha damage in the game as far as AP goes. And our pen is actually really nice as well. So even at longer ranges, we're getting through battleships. Compared to Scarlet Thunder with short fuses, though, we're going to struggle against lightly armored targets. That is the problem here with fast shell velocity, high pen, and the longer fuse time, the standard battleship fuse time. Yeah, we're going to get some more overpens. Even overpenning a Wisconsin, apparently. Why did they give Wisconsin an underwater citadel? Not even Iowa Citadel, Monty Citadel. It's underwater. I cannot Citadel this guy. It's hard-coded into the game. He gets to do this. So ridiculous, man. Anyways, moving on. Our HE is a little bit nerfed compared to Scarlet Thunder. Only 6,150 alpha damage. Scarlet Thunder's is 7,200. But your HE still is quite solid here. You get 70 mils of pen with 47% fire chance. And as always, fire chance and lighting fires synergizes very well with your airstrike gimmick. So you're probably going to want to use some AP and some HE. Which is why once we get to the build towards the end of the video, you'll see I've taken expert loader or gun feeder, whatever it's called these days. But this ship will go down here, unfortunately. This ship does not have any special gimmick with its healing. It's a standard 14% heal, standard cooldowns. We do get a 8% engine boost, which is quite nice. And you can tell we can do quite a lot of damage in this thing. It can get overrun. This is not a ship that can play on its own very easily. You do want team support, of course. But it's very powerful with its main guns. And now I want you to notice something here, okay? Notice what I did wrong. Can you see it? Can you tell? I was pretty upset at myself in the recording for this one. This would have been an excellent drop in on a Hawk, which is just disgusting how much damage we can do to 32mm armed battleships. Yep. We dropped our plane-based ASWs. That is the unique thing here. No Dutch ship with airstrikes has ever had plane-based ASWs. It's always been the ship-based ones that are essentially useless. Unfortunately, these ones are also kind of useless. They have the same reload. They are tied together. You can think of it like different ammo types. It's like swapping between HE and AP. To do so, there is at least a bonus as long as you're loaded with your airstrikes to swapping. It's like 6 or 7 seconds, something like that, to swap from the airstrikes that are IHE bombs over to the ASWs. But unfortunately, with a 2-minute reload, you have 4 times the reload of all the other battleship ASW at your tier. You do get more range. You still get the 15 kilometers of range, which is quite nice. Everybody else is like at 11. But your damage is so much weaker on these bombs. So not only are you dealing with a longer reload, it's actively hurting one of your special gimmicks because you're choosing to use that reload, that around 80-second cooldown on your bombs for ASW instead. Now we're also getting worse damage too. It's like 3,700 damage from the ASW bombs, where at this tier, we should be getting 4,900 from tier 10 battleships. If you look at the actual ASW bomb damage to submarines, this is around tier 7, tier 8 level. It's somewhere in the middle of there as far as the bombs go. So pretty weak ASWs with a very long reload that also means you're not using your primary airstrike gimmick on enemy surface ships. So to me, I don't even understand why they added this, honestly. This feels like a test of what they could do, trying to maybe figure out the code to make it work so they could add it to some other ships. I don't know. But to me, this really does not feel useful at all. And I made several mistakes while trying to make it work. But for the most part, now that I've played it a little bit, I will be playing this ship more, don't you worry. We'll need some more content once I fully get Conrad enabled. I didn't have enough time to get that fully done, unfortunately. But when I do go play it again, there's no way I'm ever going to use a cooldown on ASWs. I'm always going to use them for the HE airstrikes on ships, or I'm going to save it, right? Like, we want to charge up those airstrikes too, save them for prime targets. I don't understand what they're doing here. It would have been cool if it was its own separate thing and make it weak, sure. Make it a long reload, make it weak damage, sure. Make it hard to lead, sure. If it was on its own separate cooldown compared to our HE airstrikes. I think that is just such a big miss from Wargaming, and I don't think you should really ever be using these ASWs, unless there's literally only a sub remaining on your flank. Otherwise, even then, you might want to use that time to charge up your ASWs, honestly. So disappointing that we can't have those separately, unfortunately. Nice Citadel again into Louisiana. Good damage into battleships. A little unfortunate into the Blucher earlier, as well as the Marseille. We're not quite getting those Citadels into the cruiser broadsides that I would be looking for here, unfortunately. On its own, these 9-406s with a 28-second reload, standard battleship dispersion with 2.1 Sigma does not feel like a very powerful tier 10 ship at all, especially given that our armor is all 32 millimeters everywhere. That doesn't feel particularly powerful. But we got to remember that this airstrike gimmick is incredibly powerful. When you land them, it's going to take you some practice, which I do like, that it's not just easy to hit your target. That 17.5 seconds is important to be here, and otherwise it'd be way more busted. It still is going to be very frustrating to deal with, I think, given that a lot of times you can just sit behind islands and drop airstrike after airstrike, especially with the improved reload over the PVO. I'm surprised they buffed the reload by that much over the PVO, but I guess they thought it was needed for the game. I don't know. I don't know, man. This doesn't seem like a ship that is going to be very engaging to play against. At least if it goes broadside, this one will take a lot of damage, or it should. We're gonna miss angle here. Nice Citadel into the Blucher there. Finally at range, getting the cruiser. Vermont salvo. We're not angled, and we don't take any damage. I deserve to get dev struck there, or at least be multiple citadeled, honestly, given our armor scheme. I suppose that will catch back up with us later on in this battle, perhaps. We're also trying our best to survive against the onslaught of planes. This ship on an island or playing close is going to be targeted by carriers a lot, other ASWs a lot. Another long-range Citadel. The pen is really nice at range. Your AA is quite poor on this one. It's not very good. We see that a lot of Dutch ships have strong AA, like the Gouden, the Utrecht have pretty good AA, PVO. But with this one, it seems like it's just the exact same AA that we would get on a British battleship, which is to say very, very poor. 17-second lead time here, and we're actually going to miss both of those airstrikes. His prop mod and engine boost. I'm assuming prop mod. He accelerated pretty quickly. Engine boost for sure, though. Got him out of the way. It's hard to lead these bombs. I want to reiterate that quite a lot, because this one, on paper, will seem very overpowered and very unfun, frustrating to fight against. Battleship tankiness, survivability with 15-kilometer, 8,500 alpha damage per bomb airstrikes. 12.2 kilometer detect, but leading these bombs is going to be quite hard. Although, given that it's for steel, we're probably going to see more experienced players with it. And probably people who are getting this one already have the Prince, so they may be used to leading those bombs. Then it's going to be quite the challenge to deal with it. 46 mil pen means a lot of battleships that have some tankiness, like I think about Montana Hull, 38 millimeter deck armor. This is going to smash right through it. That's one of the weaknesses of, or the downsides of Gouden, as well as Utrecht. They pen 37 and 34 respectively, which is still going to smash through some of those 32 mil armed battleships. Yes, we get Citadel through our superstructure by the Vermont there. I actually don't know how he got like rear turrets doing a Citadel there. But given that we didn't take a Citadel earlier, I suppose that's all fair. Nice double sit into the Hawk. The guns feel quite good, I'm not going to lie. I don't know how busted this is actually going to be in practice. It might just go down very quickly. We've got a lot of potential damage in this one, but remember, we've been dealing with Tromp airstrikes rather consistently here, and very lucky to not eat as much damage from Vermont also earlier too. So I don't want you to think it's that tanky either, but it survived quite a long time here for me, especially if we're playing around islands properly. Notice the 2-point AA skill here also helping us out a ton. Stacking that with a 3-point heal skill to give me my 5th heal on 2 million potential damage. We have a 31-second cooldown on our heal, man, with those two stacking. And that's pretty powerful. It's going to help this ship stay alive. I did like that on this build. The ship does have an 80-second heal cooldown normally. So pretty powerful upgrades to add to this ship to keep it alive. Since it's relatively low HP, less than 80,000 HP for a tier 10 battleship, those will work relatively well. Again, unable to Citadel this Marseille. He's getting away. I guess I got away with not getting Citadel earlier too, so maybe I shouldn't complain too much about that. Now I'm going to try and blind drop this Vermont, because I'm assuming this game is about to end. Looks like Cassard gets the NC, so it won't, but we're going to try it here, and Vermont is looking to be further to the right, unfortunately. Trying to lead these 17.5 second bombs is quite difficult, I've found. Really, I probably just need to practice with them a little bit more, honestly. We'll get that after these first initial impressions, and yet I still hit them. I can hit the blind strike, but not the ones where people are fully spotted. Feels bad, man. We'll go for the bow Citadel here, like a little bit of a cheek there, and we do manage to get it on the Vermont, actually. Typically, that I don't often hit with most battleships. I try for it, but it's very difficult to hit. I think the extra pen here is helping us out quite a lot. We are certainly going to go down, though, but quite solid damage output from this ship. The combination of these airstrikes and these main guns is a very, very difficult combination to deal with. Fortunately, it is a very weak armored battleship. We do only have 32 everywhere. The Citadel is gigantic. The maneuverability is not great. But the concealment's very good, and the ability to hide behind islands and then just spam your airstrikes over them means that you don't have to play in the open tanking all the time. And while we did get a lot of potential damage that game, I want to show you how quickly we can die in this ship if we get caught out. Schlieffen secondaries, yeah, there's going to full pen us everywhere if he's got IFHE. And then there's a Shinano in this one. Oh no. Yeah, I didn't have very much fun playing this match in particular. I want you to notice this matchmaking, by the way. Carrier, 3 battleships, and then everything else is DD or sub. Or there's 1 cruiser, but it was a GNAN, so that also wants to play from stealth. So really, the enemy team had only 3 ships, surface ships, that actually were going to get lit and fire their guns. Everything else was a destroyer, a submarine, or a carrier, or a smoke HE spamming cruiser, or torp spamming cruiser in GNAN's case as well. So what do you do against this? Well, you just pretty much say, I'm not allowed to have fun here, unfortunately. Bit ironic complaining about that while also playing an airstrike ship, which is not fun to play against at all either. I understand that, but it's difficult to get good games when this was the matchmaker. I did not get the best matchmaker while playing this one. I need to play it some more, as well as the Irresistible. I will make some more videos on both of those, as they are some interesting battleship editions. I don't know about good, but interesting, certainly. And to play them, I think there's going to be some absolutely ridiculous games out of both of them. Conrad will be able to buff a ton of elements of this ship. I already mentioned that the AP has pretty high alpha damage, and every 50,000 damage, we're getting like a 2% alpha damage buff to our main guns, as well as our airstrikes. So that applies to that armor piercing. These could be some pretty insane AP alpha damage if we fully build for it. I wasn't running heavy AP though, so we didn't quite fully build for that one. As well as getting 50 bomb hits to get ourselves that extra airstrike charge. We could get 3 airstrikes. Also, I would love to see a Witherer on this one. I unfortunately didn't have enough time to get all of that. And yet we still had some very good games. Couple over 200k and a few that did not go so well. Yeah, here come the skip bombers. This is what we were waiting for. And yes, definitely getting Citadel to death here, unfortunately. And again, I want to reiterate with these ASWs, do not swap to them. Notice we're reloading our second ASW here, or rather our HE airstrike. And I thought, hey, why not? Let's try it. There's our 5, 6 second swap time. And it removed all that progress I made towards reloading that second one, unfortunately. Skill issue, sure, we can easily say that, but it's annoying. It's really annoying because it does take quite a while to reload these things. And it's a lot of your gimmick. It's a lot of your specialty, your damage. So using that on an ASW for like 3,000 damage into that sub did not feel good at all. You know, I'm not really sure what they were going for with this camo, honestly. It is not just a single color. But what it does do is tell people exactly where to shoot. Yes. We got to talk about the armor profile here. Look at this Citadel. I'm glad. I'm glad that these two new battleships have weaknesses. Irresistible, as well as this Willem here. I am really, really happy that they don't have underwater citadels like Wisconsin does for whatever reason. We need more of this wargaming, please. I'm really happy. I'm really, really happy with this designed decision here. I'm so tired of people going broadside and not taking damage, myself included. I shouldn't be getting away with going... I still got away with going too broadside to that Vermont salvo. But at least here, then, it's more likely. That's very rare that I should get away with that, honestly. I'm not sure exactly what I hit, though, to take a Citadel back here to our superstructure. This is 102, so it's not like that's getting overmatched by Vermont, and neither is our deck armor, right? So 32, not overmatchable by 457s. So I'm not sure what happened there. Very strange. Maybe it hit somewhere here and bounced down. Who knows? But bit of a strange one. If you do overmatch 32, then this ship is paper, because at closer range, look at that Citadel. It's a weak hull, certainly, but the concealment offsets it by quite a lot. 12.2 detect is just so good. Relatively quick reload here when we take reload mod, of course. Dispersion doesn't look amazing, but again, 2.1 Sigma is very, very solid and got me pretty good consistency out of it. These airstrikes really just do not use your depth strike, depth charge airstrikes. Use the HE bombs only. It's really not worth it, honestly. Just run away from the sub. That's always the advice, right? Run away from the sub, run away from the carrier, clump up. Unfortunately, that is the only thing you can consistently do to deal with their damage. And everything else is just hoping the other guy is not good at the engagement. Because to use like a chess example, it's like a one end game. So, you know, if you engage with it, you just hope that the other guy messes up. But I mean, it's not that hard to not mess up the carrier versus surface ship thing. Anyways, before I rant too long about that whole mess, here is the build that I was running on it. Bit of a strange one here, but we definitely do want both AA skills. Still, strikes for getting through, because our AA, while this number is looking good, it's very, very misleading. We're taking this skill, though, for sure, because we want that prep time on our airstrike there, that 15%. And then I'm taking this skill here instead of Emergency Repair Expert for our 5th heal, as that gives us a really nice cooldown reduction to our heal every time we take some potential damage. Low HP battleships benefit a lot more from this, of course. And then I'm also taking Emergency Repair Upgrade. These two instead of this one, you could swap it around, certainly. Gun feeder, though, really important on this one. I did not seem to lose my turrets at all, so not too bad there. It's not like we have secondaries or torps to worry about with preventive maintenance. So yeah, that swap time is really nice, because we do want to use a mix of AP and HE on this one. As for the equipment, the only real difference from like a standard battleship build is definitely going airstrike mod. You're not as maneuverable. That is a downside. We don't take prop mod then, but we have an 8% engine boost, which kind of offsets it, right? There's not much downside there as long as we have our engine boost available. Still felt reasonably maneuverable with that. And I'm not taking brisk here. Maybe I should be. I really value this skill here, this 40% cooldown, especially on a test ship. You know, this is a renamed user account, so it's not like a CPQ, shoot PQ thing. It's just test ships get shot at a lot, so and focused a lot by carriers in particular. So taking that was really important throughout my playtime with this one. Maybe as it circulates through, maybe we don't need that as much. If you don't worry about carriers nearly as much as I do, then brisk could be a good option for you, as you will activate it often, and that'll get you into more aggressive positions to use these 15-kilometer airstrikes. For 31,000 steel, though, that's a lot. That's a lot of steel. It's a lot of grinding to do. If you play a ton of competitive clan battles, you probably have the steel laying around, so you're probably going to get this anyway. But if you have to choose, I think there's some better options than this ship, honestly. This Airstrike is hard to use if you're not used to it. The PVO is actually not available right now in the steel area. I'm not sure why it's not in the armory there. Maybe this with this whole rotation and artificial FOMO stuff that they're going to be adding, maybe PVO comes back. If you have the choice between those two, the Willem here and the Prince, definitely get the Prince. I think that ship is way better. Even though its airstrikes do take longer to reload, I just much prefer those main guns. Even if that ship didn't have airstrikes, Prince main guns are so nice. That is such a good ship. Although this one is tankier with being a battleship hull and all, so bit of a trade-off there. If you do want to just full send 15-kilometer airstrikes, this one does just have a better reload compared to Prince somehow. But I think that's about it for the first impressions here of the Willem. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Thank you very much for watching, and have a great rest of your day.